So a common question is, what kind of pet snake can I get that stays small, but most importantly, is handleable throughout their life? So I have a few that I'm going to show you. What's up, everybody? This is Matt from Tye-Dyed Iguana, and today I want to talk about very small pet snakes. Oftentimes when somebody's looking for a pet snake, size is a big concern. They're cute right now while they're small and little, but most snakes, like any other animal, are going to get larger as they get older. So a common question is, what kind of pet snake can I get that stays small, but most importantly, is handleable throughout their life? So I have a few that I'm going to show you, and I want to go ahead and start with our most popular small pet snake, and that is the Kenyan sand boa. All right, so this is our Kenyan sand boa. Now this is a color morph called an anery or antheristic, which is basically that black and gray color. But the color's irrelevant here. What we're looking at is size and temperament. So notice how calm this guy is. It's like a little worm. This is a baby. Full grown, these are generally going to top out between 12 and 16 inches. So in theory, you could keep one of these in a 10-gallon tank for their entire life. Most people opt to go with a 20 long for an adult Kenyan sand boa. Some even go a little bit larger. But a 10-gallon is a great start. These guys like to be warm, 95 to 100 degrees. They are from the desert, but very, very calm temperament and very small. The downer to the Kenyan sand boa is they are burrowers, so you're not going to see them very often during the day, if at all for that matter. They generally spend their time burrowed in the sand. But I would say if you're looking for a small pet snake that is handleable and doesn't get huge, the Kenyan sand boa is definitely the way to go. Next up on the list is the Indonesian tree boa. Now these are super cool because they're an arboreal snake, which means tree dwelling. So they have the same behaviors you see with like your green tree pythons or your emerald tree boas or your Amazon tree boas for that matter, but none of the aggression. These stay very small, about 12 to 18 inches. The catch with the Indonesian tree boa, however, is that they are all wild caught, and as a result, they tend to eat lizards and frogs. So the feeding is slightly more technical because you're having to feed it another lizard or another frog. As a result, these snakes are heavily parasited. However, as long as you take care of them properly and put them in the proper environment, the parasites are a non-issue. Handling the Indonesian tree boa can feel a little scary sometimes. They often will press their face into your hand, which can be a little scary if you've never held one before, but it's very unlikely that they'll bite. They're a tropical snake, but they're also a very cool temperatured snake, so not nearly as hot as some of the others. So you will need a heat lamp, you'll need an arboreal cage, you'll need a lot of humidity, and at the end of the day, feed them lizards and frogs, and you'll be good to go. Next, we have the children's pythons and the spotted pythons. These are very similar to one another, but full grown, they stay relatively small. All right, so this is an adult children's python. So full grown, we're talking 3 to 4 feet max. Again, this is a full grown adult. We have it in a 40 breeder tank. You could go slightly smaller. Personally, I would go with at least the 40 breeder, something that's 3 foot by 18 inches. A 30 breeder would work well in addition to that 40 breeder because that's just a little bit shallower on the height. Children's pythons do need to be kept a little bit warmer. They're going to be in that 95-degree temperature range, so very similar to a ball python. And all around, I would say the care is very similar to a ball python. But once again, very small snake, very calm and handleable. This is a full-grown adult. So if size is an issue, you got nothing to worry about here. And spotted python will be very similar. Look at the strength on that guy, just kind of hanging on. Lastly is the rosy boa. Rosy boas are going to be very similar in care to the Kenyan sand boa, although they come from Mexico versus Kenya. But they're a ground dweller. They're going to be kept between 95 and 100 degrees, and their maximum size is going to be anywhere in that 12 to 20 inches, depending on gender. So very small. You can keep them in a 20 long tank their entire life, although a lot of people will opt for larger. They do like to burrow, but they're also kept very dry, so you don't have any real major humidity requirements. So to kind of recap, some of your best small snakes that are handleable that make great pets for the long term are going to be your Kenyan sand boa, your Indonesian tree boa, your children's python or spotted python, and then finally the rosy boa. If you're looking for a small snake, something that you can keep in a smaller tank and that will be handleable for its entire life, be sure to see what we have available at Tye-Dyed Iguana. You can check us out on our website, and our availability is updated every Thursday.